All right, what is going on? Welcome back to the show. Today, I am joined by Cory Gregory. Cory, thanks for being here, man.
Hell yeah. What's good, man?
Dude, it is super fucking cool to have you on here. When we're going back and forth via DM a bit, I think you were straight up like the first, like before I had Instagram, I remember following you on Twitter.
Let's go.
You were putting out daily workouts on Twitter. I was always screenshotting that shit in like
Yep.
2012 when I was very first getting into fitness and just
So good.
like
How old are you?
I am 27 now.
So
So
that age group right there. Like a lot of you guys now grown up a little bit, you were in college at the time, right? Or that age group. I've had a lot of that happen now where people that are between 27 and 30 that was heavy in my stuff
right.
back then are now reaching back out for podcasts or opportunities, what they do in work, and they're reaching out to work with me, man. It's been something I never even anticipated would happen, but the value I was adding when I was younger is kind of coming back. It's really interesting. So thanks for sharing that with me.
Dude, no, absolutely, man. And like straight up when you made the transition to Cory Fitness, like I went into college I got a business degree, but I knew I wanted to do something like along the lines of personal training, but somehow make that shit online. But even in like 2014, 2015, I wasn't really seeing anybody like do, and I don't know if I just wasn't into the industry enough yet, but I wasn't seeing anybody doing like what I wanted to do. And I saw like everything you were putting out with Cory Fitness. It's like, fuck, it's like eventually,
Thanks, bro.
that's what I want to do someday. So really,
Appreciate
in
that.
a weird way, man, you've had a huge impact on my career. So again, super cool to have you here. But kind of getting ahead of ourselves here. If you would just give us a super quick intro on who you are, what you're up to right now, and then I'd love to just dive into your backstory, man.
Yeah, for sure. No, I've been, it's so funny is like around town. I live in a small town, east side of Columbus, and a lot of people really don't know what I do because one, I'm not that big of a dude, right? I mean, I've weighed 240, but it wasn't good. But most of the time I rock between 180 and 190. I'm almost 6 foot tall. So I don't look like, I guess, a fitness guy per se a lot.
Right.
I'm not that big of it. Now, when it's summertime and abs is rocking, that's different. But you ain't showing the soccer mom at the grocery store your abs, right? So a lot of people, when they ask me what I do, they think that the gym is my primary job, which, like, yeah, I own a gym, down the street. And obviously it's super hardcore. Old school gym is one of the most hardcore gyms in the country. And so then I try to like lead them down this path of supplements and programs and the app and all of these things. So the fact that I've been on all sides of the industry, I've really just kind of said, like, I'm a fitness entrepreneur. That's the best way. So I'm an entrepreneur for sure. And I've done other businesses that weren't fitness based, but fitness and content is really what I've done my entire life. And that's where the value's been to add to other people's lives, in my opinion, right? I've been a crazy driven guy for a long time. And as I'm creating stuff, I could see how it would impact people's lives. And that's where, like, what you just said to me is where the oxygen comes from, bro. Straight up. So it's like, all right, I was so excited to try to get the opportunity to change my situation of growing up, with not very much money and kind of like struggling household, and then to find a passion, and then for it to actually become reality and actually be something I love to do. Like, all of those things kind of work together, and you get this kind of mesh of, personal trainer at age 20, had my first gym before I turned 21. And when I say gym, I say like, it was like a closet that I rented for $600 a month. It was terrible, but that got me started as an entrepreneur. And so for 22 years, I've, basically been athlete that's been sponsored by Reebok, sponsoring athletes, working with Arnold Schwarzenegger, starting supplement companies, retail, direct to customer, doing content on bodybuilding.com with 100 million views, to creating unique programs with between a mesh of Louis Simmons and John Burroughs and stuff I learned from Arnold. And I'm literally a mix of so many different worlds, all based around application of myself. Not the biggest dude, not the strongest dude, but motherfucker, I come to work every day and get every ounce of possibility out of this body. And so as I've been fucking, going after for these 20 years of competing in bodybuilding and powerlifting and doing these covers and all these things, you get this version of a very well-traveled fitness entrepreneur that I feel like is so unique. I really don't think there's another person like me in the industry, to be straight with you. And I was ahead of the game. I was doing internet training in 2006, had my own app in 2015. And the content giving away content. I was early in that game. So
Right.
there's been a lot of these things, application-based workouts based around supplement usage, all of these things that I've kind of done. So like the background in kind of like what I do is everything based fitness. I've kind of seen a little bit of everything, and I just wanted to lift weights and get paid. It just looked a little
Love it.
different the last 20 years. And
Right.
that's still all I want to do.
I love it.
It's a lot to digest, but that's kind of me in a nutshell.
I think one of the things about you, man, and I mean this in the best way possible, but you're not like that special of a dude as far as
I'm attainable.
And I don't at all mean that.
No, I don't take that disrespectful.
But like when I saw your shit, I was like, I could do that. This dude can do it. I think I could accomplish that same thing. Of course, like you've worked your ass off, and none of that is to take anything away from what you've done.
No.
But I think that's
reality, though.
Right.
Why people can jive with what they see it and they go, wait, I think I can achieve that. Because let's face it, we see these other people and we're like, it's unattainable. Right. They're not telling you about the drugs. They're not telling you about all the crazy shit they're doing. But they see a guy like me and they go, all right, dude's into his 40s now, been rocking these decent levels, right at elite level strength at times, hit these covers, these shows. This is all attainable. I look it up. Oh, 5'11", 185, competes at 175, does powerlifting at 198. Oh, wait, that's like a good high school athlete.
Right.
I mean, I think I brought a little bit more than that, but at the end of the day, that's the base.
Right.
I didn't get recruited to play anything.
Right.
So it's not like I'm like a D1 prospect out here. I'm not.
Right. Right. No, I love it, man.
But so no disrespect taken on that. That's just the truth, bro.
Perfect. All right, brother. So I'd like to dive into your backstory a little bit. Where you come from is pretty crazy. So would you mind just taking us back to the origin? Like, how did all this shit start?
Yeah. So, my earliest memory of like lifting weights comes from my mom, right? I remember seeing her do, I'm 42. So you gotta take us when I'm probably like 7 or 8 years old. She was doing little like exercise records.
Okay.
Like literally in my front room, like Jane Fonda type shit for real. So I saw her doing like an exercise tape, but it wasn't a tape yet. It was a fucking record. It's telling her how to do these leg lifts. Yeah, bro. Wild, right? And then I seen her doing like an ab wheel with a rolling pin, like the things you would roll bread out with, right? So I see my mom, and these are my earliest kind of memories. And then my dad at the time, because he left when I was 11, but I remember him when I was young. He would be lifting weights in the garage, and he was a coal miner, and then he'd come home and lift weights, and they had like the cement weights. And I remember he only weighed like probably 165, 170, but he was around a 300-pound bencher, short Italian arms, Right. And so I remember these things as a kid. Then fast forward, my parents separated. We moved in with my grandparents when I was in 6th grade, roughly. And I was there for about a year and a half. And that's when my grandfather said, he's a construction guy, bigger dude, 6'2", 240, getting into bar fights till he's in his 50s. Like just not a rough guy, but a fucking tough guy. Right. World War II vet, just died about a month ago at 93. So he had an amazing life. It was a tough one, but he was just awesome. So I thought to myself, all right, I never lifted weights. This is the way I can spend time with him. He's essentially my father figure at the time and was there on out. And the consistency he showed, the excitement he showed, and the things he told me. Girls are going to like it. You're going to be better at sports. And, you need to make yourself strong so you can protect yourself. And then the confidence that you can build from it. So here we go. I'm every day. I'm in the basement. He knows. And his knowledge is actually pretty limited. I don't even think he really read muscle magazines. Actually, his father had been teaching him when he was 9 years old to start to lift weights. And then he died in a coal mine explosion in 1935 when my grandfather was 9 years old, but he was already teaching him how to lift weights. And our chalk bowl at old school gym is actually part of his barbell. So when the barbells were round on each side, I have one of those sides split, and that is my chalk bowl at old school and a chalk bowl at my house. It is a late 1800s barbell. So this has been in my family for a really long time. And so as he's teaching me, and I'll never forget it, bro, I see this little muscle pop out of my delt, right? I'm doing upright rows, and I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I don't know. I've been wearing tank tops since that day, I think. Right. So once I started feeling that confidence, then it was like, all right, I'm watching my grandfather he's putting in a hard work as a construction guy, used to be a coal miner. Obviously his dad died as a coal miner, and his uncle, both on the same shift, which was really sad, tragic. I got my dad, a coal miner for 16 years. Now I was driving tractor trailer. My mom's waiting tables. We had moved out of my grandparents' house, but I'm living in this trailer that costs $150. It's like between $100 and $150 a month rent. The ceiling's caving in. It's from 1970s. I'm mad about my situation. I'm tired of living check to check. My mom's supporting us on like a G a month, maybe, me and my sister. And I think and my dad was on strike from the coal mine. I think I just eventually got so fed up with my situation that I was like, I have to be the person that changes this. And I really figured that out when I was probably about 15. Now, I didn't know what it was going to be, but I just knew that I was willing to do whatever it took to make it different. And to the levels that it went to, I could have never even guessed, right? But I made that decision. And then as I was putting more work into my lifting, and I played basketball at the time, I was putting equal work into that. I was starting to really accumulate a level of consistency that was showcasing what I could really get out of myself. And then I started to realize how different that was than everyone else. And what I also started to realize what was different about me is that I wanted it more than everyone else, that I had something different about me, that stuff that was, upsetting me, I was using as a driver.
Right.
And then that right there, and where it really shifted for me the best was I was working. I graduated high school, didn't know what I wanted to do, hadn't figured out personal training was a thing yet. I was going to community college, hated my fucking life from 8 to 12, and I was stacking lumber from 1 to 10 in an environment where the guys were nice and they were close to where I grew up, but I fucking hated it. It was not me. The guys that I worked with, a lot of them hated who they were married to. They were just miserable at the time, right? And so I was like, once I got the opportunity to work as a coal miner from my stepdad, my mom got remarried. He got me a job, and he said, it was like the starting pay was double what I was making on the sawmill. He said, you have 4 or 5 months that you can work till if you decide to go back to college, you can work as much as you want. And when he says that, I'm going to give you an idea. 40 hours at $14 an hour, overtime's 21. I was logging 80 to my biggest week was 93 hours.
Damn.
A week, not every 2-week pay, a week. And I did that underground, 600 feet in shitty ass situations for like 4 or 5 months and saved all my money, and then said, okay, now it's time for me to move away to Columbus, Ohio, and try to start this passion for go to school a year, learn how to be a personal trainer, and try to get into that industry. And that's how my career started.
Okay. So for you so easily could have had just a victim mindset, like basically like all the people around you, just fuck this. This is the hand I was dealt. What do you think for you? Like you said, at 15 is when you realized, fuck, I'm got to be the one that changed the story. Why do you think for you things were different? Like, how do you think that came about? Because again, you could have very easily been the victim here.
Well, and I think I played that a couple times, right? And I think it's so weird thinking back, right? You try to put yourself there, and you're like, I just remember feeling like the victim mindset and understanding how that made me feel. It felt like weak. And then I would think about the hope of what's possible. And once again, no internet. My resources are fucking muscle magazines. I don't know anybody that makes money lifting weights. The guy that owns the local gym, which I had never really been to until after I graduated, like had another job. So it's not looking real promising. You know what I mean? Like, and so it was like one of those things where I think I liked that hopeful, and what I was doing was reading a bunch about Arnold and a bunch about Franco Columbu. And I think that helped me because Arnold talked about the discipline that he learned in the gym. He applied to business. He applied to his acting. I think that helped me a ton because I started seeing like, okay, Arnold's a fucking movie star. Arnold owns fucking shitloads of real estate. He's in all kinds of businesses. Like he's a really good business guy. And I'm starting to think to myself, okay, I understand what this result got me. I need to now apply it to whatever I do. And I think when I got the coal mining job, it gave me a period of time where I was like, this is what I'm doing to get out. And that was the narrative I followed. Then once I got out, Then it was like, okay, what's the entry point? So my big thing was, how do I just get somebody to hand me $20 to teach them how to do bicep curls? Like
Right.
that right there, that's the same. So the first person that did that, they're like, some 65-year-old woman. She's my first client. Here's $20 a session. I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing, but I knew a lot more than her. But
Right.
that's the same amount of money I was making in the coal mine. Now, it wasn't the same amount of hours. It wasn't, but it was the same thing. And so to me, I was like, I'm fucking winning right here. So a lot of people nowadays, they go, well, I'm not Cory already. You know what I mean? Like, I need to step in right at the top. I was thinking, motherfucker, I wasn't even at the bottom. I was below the bottom. I'm at the top. And so I think my gratitude for being if I never go past the studio on Bryce Road and I'm making 60, 80, 100 a year like I made there, I'm already fucking won, bro.
Right.
I won at 23. You couldn't tell me shit. I was fucking coal mining. Now people are paying me to do fucking lateral raises. Get the hell out of here. So I think my gratitude for that. And then once I got 1 or 2 wins, bro, and I started realizing like, wait a second, this could be drastically different for me if I just continue the process. And that's why people ask me about why you still get up, why you do this, why you do that. Well, I already know what it yields.
Right.
It not only yields results, but it yields me to be in the mindset to when things come my way, I'm able to handle them with a level head and calculated and deal with stressors different and that type of stuff. And so I started to find my process of how I could operate, and I just dedicated myself to it. And so I think like lifting, studying Arnold, understanding once I got a little bit of money, I had some freedom. There was just something in that area of time when I started lifting weights and started being hopeful rather than feeling like a victim. I started to be able to think, I started telling myself this, why not me?
Right.
Well, I would pose the opposite question. Instead of how could you do that? I could think, why can't I do that? I'm doing a bunch of stuff I don't see other motherfuckers doing.
Right.
I have these aspirations to be on the cover of magazines and do these things, and no one thought was possible. But for some reason, I thought it was possible. And it's really, there's a quote from Abraham Lincoln that I'm going to get tattooed on me that talks about how to believe in the stuff you can see and touch is to no belief at all. To believe what's possible, it's that it's the faith, right? I believe that I had, like, if I could go produce it, like I believed in myself so much, but I don't know where, like no one instilled that in me. I think it came from hating my situation. I was tired of not having the nice shoes. I was tired of my car being shitty. I was tired of watching my mom cry about bills. I was tired of all that stuff. Dude, I drive a Rolls as my fucking like daily, and I wear sweatsuits all the fucking time. I don't give a fuck, right? I just wanted to change my situation so drastically that's like, people are like, oh, why you drive that so much? You're going to put too many miles. Motherfucker, I didn't buy it to sit in the garage. I bought it to drive to the fucking grocery store. So like, it's just so I just really wanted to flip this whole thing on its head. And then also the IQ, our financial IQ growing up was terrible. I wanted to understand about when I had money, what to do with it, how to invest it, how to I knew that our whole shit needed to come up. And that's really what I've been focused on as I've made money, is educating myself and then educating my family on both sides, teaching my mom and my stepdad about stock, teaching my kids about stock, and teaching myself about these type of things as I get older. So this is a heavy, like if you're watching this right now and your situation is similar in your own way, it's a heavy burden to say, I'm the guy that fucking changes this. But I'll tell you what, the reward, it's so rewarding. I know without a doubt, the people that have been around me, family, or people that have worked with me because of the way that I operate are going to be different. It is just a fact. I'm different. They're different. Love me or hate me later, they still going to be different. Because I have people that ain't fucking, singing my praises because of this, that, or whatever, but they still different. My family, different forever. No question. My kids got more money in stock than I had, like, when I fucking worked all those hours, and it's just like, it's not even the same life, bro. It's literally that drastic. And understanding, like, Dad, what's the margin on this? Dad, what's the dividend on that? Like, what? Like, dude, just a different life, man. But all because of the things I shared.
That is so dope. I'm fired up now.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
That's super fucking cool. I love the thing about taking the rolls to the grocery store as well.
I don't give a fuck. I
So,
love the looks I get. It's amazing.
that shit's so funny to me. And it really,
But
man.
by the way, by the reason though, too, which is interesting about that whole thing, but I've never posted on social media.
I noticed that actually. Why is that?
I just, because that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if it happens because I'm doing a video and I'm just in my car, that's my car I drive every day, right? That's different. If I'm standing in front of it like I'm a fucking rap star, that's not really what I do. I'm the fucking blue collar grinder. Now, was I able to achieve that? Yes, but it took 20 fucking years.
Right.
So I'm not gonna like. It's just not. Is sometimes the ego part will be like, gee, you should, but that's not really me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that is how I operate, but that's not really what I am. I don't want to be like just about fucking watches and fucking car. Like I wanted all those things because I fucking watched a bunch of rap videos growing up. But at the end of the day, that's not my marketing piece. My marketing piece is work hard, which by the way, a lot of motherfuckers are scared of. So I'm leading with, hey, you need to lunge 800 meters a day. You need to eat this way. You need to train volume. You need to get up early, because I know that's what's going to lead to the fucking Rolls Royce and the fucking presidential and all these things. Not me just posting about it on Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
That. No, 100%. And that's, I feel like, very much just takes it all back to the mindset you're talking about before, basically just taking ownership of every part of your life. And again, dude, I remember, not to like be a Cory G fangirl or anything like that right now, but I remember in like
it's part of your experience of coming up though. You know what I mean? So
man. And like when you started, shit, it had to be like 2014 or 2015, whenever you first like kicked off everything with Cory Fitness, and you were talking about
15.
Like,
yep.
When you're talking about all the shit of like, got to start reading more, dude. Like How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was like the first book I actually read in like my adult life. Yeah. For me, like when I started diving into that shit, again, like this conversation of going from being a victim, because I remember like until I started like consuming all your content, like all the lunge and learn stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was like,
that completely
impactful, flipped my mindset, because before that I was like, fuck this, like my parents got to pay for my shit, like why me, like, and my life has never been that hard, dude. But still, like I remember for me that was such a like my mindset
opens and wakes your ass up for real, right?
100%, dude.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So again, man, I appreciate it.
But it's, once again though, it's hard to do that, right? So you just said, what you did is you took the one step to kind of open it up and be like, all right, I respect this guy. He's a fucking nut job, obviously. He's telling me to do this. Everything else I've tried, because this is what happens is people come into my fold to get abs, cheat the system, drink beer, do the things that I do, right?
Right.
They don't realize I'm about to teach them a whole new way of operation. I'm just covering it up by all that other stuff, because I know the whole life piece of this thing, when you can get it all in check, is when I believe you're ultimately happy.
Right.
So it's like, if you're not doing that piece of development, you might say, oh, that's fucking some hocus pocus, you know, put your head in the sand. Motherfucker, there's 3% of people that do personal development, maybe 2 to 3%. Well, guess about the amount of people in the country that make over $100,000 a year. It's the same fucking percentage. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I never read a book in high school either. I've got an entire library at my house. I realized I would have to self-educate to be better. And when I articulate my thoughts properly, they're well educated from the amount of time I've listened and fucking lunge 300 miles. That's real talk, right? So the things that I'm teaching are selfishly for the feeling of what you just told me when you first came, because I didn't know that, but my day will be completely different because you shared that with me, because that makes me know that what I'm doing is needed and has to continue, because I have the same days you have, right?
Right.
Fuck, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, and as I get older, I'm thinking, is anybody still listening? I know motherfuckers are still listening, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it gets to the point where, yeah, dude. So that, all that that's why I like couldn't stop if I tried. Right. Because there's still a new person listening today. There's gonna be a new person that listens to this. There's gonna be, the process just continues to yield results for anyone that takes part in it, and then they morph and do their own process of whatever that may be. But if I can enter them into, here's what this high percentage of earners and performers and people that have high value, and do their job. This is what they do. This is everything I've seen from everybody I've dealt with of the highest level, bro. They're all insane and they all are constantly making themselves better and at a relentless pace that makes most people uncomfortable, which is what I do.
Right. I love it, man. So if you don't mind, I want to take it back a little bit to starting the first gym, then transitioning to Muscle Farm. Will you take us through that story a bit? Because that's another kind of crazy transition you made.
Yeah. So, the funny thing about the first gym was I didn't choose to go into business. Well, when I started personal training, I had an internship and a guy had a big clientele and had some runoff at this. It was actually a tennis and fitness club, which is hilarious. But they had like a barbershop atmosphere. So you could pay $200 and just train as many clients as possible, which you had to get your own clients.
Okay.
So really I was like a sub right out the gate, which was cool. Then they tried to switch it a year later back to what normal situations would be, which is where, hey, I want to take 30% of your money. And that's when I said, I'm not doing that. And I put my flag in the sand and said, I'm going to go out and start my own gym. So if they would have never done that, my trajectory would actually be a lot different, because being a business owner before you turn 21, as shitty as the gym was, it doesn't matter. I still had my own gym and I had 20 clients coming to it. And I had to figure it out, and I had to sign a lease, and I had to fucking make it nicer, and people were giving me equipment, and it was a fucking shit show, bro. But the support was there because I was so young that made me grow up really fast as a businessman, because the decisions I made, if they fucking marketing, I remember I made this marketing deal. It was like $1,000. It's terrible. Every month when I paid it $100, I was mad at myself. But that's the lesson, right? And so I did what a lot of people don't realize about my story is I was in that building from 20 and a half to like almost 23, just in that little gym. No one knew who I was. There's no fucking internet. I'm just grinding and working with, hairstylists and massage there and anybody from around town that would listen to this young dude down the street. I did that for 3 years, then upgraded to a spot that was about 1,500 square feet. And then stuff started to really take off. Then I had 5 or 6 trainers renting from me. And I had like 35 clients that are all coming to, and then I'm booked 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. half day Saturday. Now I'm really starting to make some waves in the city, and I started a natural bodybuilding organization. So now I'm also hosting shows twice a year. So I'm making money from that. So now I'm understanding how to make some money from events. I came up with an idea. I was like, how do I hang my name in every gym in the city on purpose and be able to get away with it so I can market myself? The way I came up with it is host an event. So I started my own drug-free organization. People always be like, well, who'd you have to ask? Motherfucker, I don't have to ask anybody. I just started my own company just like the fucking NPC did, which I know that guy too. But it's like, I just started it. I ran 2 shows a year. I hung flyers in every fucking gym in the city in my name, Cory Gregory. People started to recognize it. Like, that was an entry point into getting more well-known locally. Because I always say, like, people come out and they're like, I'm international personal trainer fucking Bob. Well, yo, can you even be successful in your own fucking town? I'm international trainer Cory Gregory because I done had 200 million views on fucking bodybuilding.com from all over the world. But I didn't get there day one. I did all of these things first and hone my craft. So it's like, I found a way to get myself in all this. Then it was about, I'd been doing the shows for 5-6 years. I started doing a little bit of modeling stuff. I was trying to get into like the fitness modeling. I'd had a couple bites, but nothing really happened. And then it was 2000, the Arnold Classics in Columbus where I live. So that was, I sold programs as a 20-year-old outside the fucking Arnold Classic so I could get free tickets. I would work in some capacity with the crew from the Classic because they were here. And sometimes like Gaspari paid me one time to work at his booth because I was just a local dude that had some kind of muscle. Like I was just trying to be in the mix. And at that point, you could go to the Arnold Classic at the trade show and every magazine would have its own booth. So I could go right up and meet the dude from Muscle and Fitness, meet the dude from Men's Health. So every year, man, I'd get a photo shoot done. I'd pay for it myself. Boom. I'd go try to meet people. And I just never really got any love, right? And then in 2006, I was up late night sending fucking emails to bodybuilding.com and fucking all these magazines. And I got an email back from bodybuilding.com, which was Jeremy DeLuca, who I worked with later. He was the co-founder with his brother. And he said, I want to buy this picture for $500 and put it in ads.
Right.
I almost fell out of my fucking chair at the old school gym, the original old school. I was like, he's like, I'm going to put it in Muscle and Fitness. You know, there was like 6 magazines, full page.
Right.
And I was like, fuck, like I just fucking made it. Right. But it was because I was relentless. The picture wasn't even that good. And it's hilarious because when I worked with them, we laughed about it later. A lot of people don't even know it was me. Like I saw it laying around bodybuilding.com headquarters before, like once we were big and I had been doing tons of shit. I'm like, you know, that's me, right? And they were like, because I was just so much smaller. I wasn't that tight. It was just funny.
Right.
But anyway, it was like, I needed those little wins from the Relentless Pursuit that started to make me believe I could do things bigger and bigger. So I get in that in 2006, 2008. I was once again sending stuff off for sponsorship, and some small company from Denver sponsors me for product. I get it for 3-4 months. I'm selling at the gym. All of a sudden, they just quit sending me stuff. So I'm just like, whatever. I try to reach out to them. No one's there. Finally get a phone call like 3 months later from a guy who ended up being my co-founder at Muscle Farm. He said, hey man, I got this box of stuff here. Like I just got back out of playing in the league. What's going on? And I was like, yo, your motherfuckers just quit sending me shit. I don't know what's going on. But you know, and he's like, but I read about you because there started been a couple of interviews with me out there and stuff. And he was like, yeah, man, we should keep working together. And then he just fell off the earth for another 6 months. I'll just like, then it's like April 2000. That was like 2007, April 2008. I get another call from, yo, I'm getting ready to start this new brand. He was going to call it Muscle Quest, which is fucking hilarious. and then he was like, you know, maybe you could come work for us. And at that time I was online training all these huge, like multi-level marketing ballers.
Right.
I was golfing like 4 days a week. I had figured out a way to make over $100,000 a year as a trainer, combination of online and in the gym in this small ass town east of Columbus. And I was working like barely 4 days a week. Like I had it figured out, but I was never going to be any bigger. I just had it really efficient. Right. And I could have maybe upped my price, but I was getting close. I was getting like 70 an hour. I had figured it out. And I go, I'm not really fucking working for anybody, bro. So like, if you need a partner, then he came up with, you know, I think there's Muscle Quest, Muscle Farm. And I was like, oh, dude, Muscle Farm's way better, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I could partner up. And so then I decided to become, you know, a co-founder with him. April of 2008, we had the first Assault, which was our pre-workout. Right. And I took it and I was like, this is better than Gaspari Super Pump. This was not going to kill people like Jack 3D, you know, because that's the time frame when 1,3-dimethyl was still out. And Brad was a pro athlete. So he was like, yo, you know, I want to be the athlete side. You can be the bodybuilding side, blah, blah, blah. And I had a formulator named Dr. Eric Serrano that had coached me my whole career. That's from Columbus, who's actually extremely well known for people that are deep in the industry, but he doesn't do any he's like a Charles Poliquin type character, right, but never did the content. So you have to go like levels deep to realize how good this guy is. Right. But I learned from him and Dr. Mario Di Pasquale, and I knew how good the formula was. We tweaked it a little bit. I went back to Pi and said, I'm ready to roll the dice. And this is what I came up to. I talked to my wife. We had a kid on the way. She had just quit teaching. I've got life good. Got me an old school Mercedes. Got me a house. I'm so far from where I ever thought I would be to that point. Right. But I had to make a decision. Do I roll the dice one time to maybe be my version of Bill Phillips, which is who I looked up to, right, from EAS. Right. And be a content creator, be a person in the industry that has, like, be somebody. But I'm going to have to go all in. And I thought there was holes in the Muscle Tech game. There was holes in the BSN game at that time. I was like, I know there's no one really talking to me. Right. They're talking to the 220 shredded, juiced up dude, or they're talking to that, or they're not even talking. They're just not talking to anybody. They're just throwing marketing. People are buying into it. It's a bunch of bullshit. And I was like, there needs to be the Nike. There needs to be, and it didn't start that way. It kind of started kind of gothic looking. It turned into like basically
Right.
the Nike of supplements. So you fast forward 2010, we start, raising capital, sponsoring the UFC. UFC takes off. 2013, I'm one of the, 13, 14, I'm the biggest sponsor at the Arnold. I'm business partners with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm sponsoring Tiger Woods. I got the main sponsor in the UFC. The business is quadrupling every year. It's insanity. Now, the flip side of that is it was probably too fast. And
Right.
that's really what ended up being the demise to some degree, is that we didn't have the talent. I am not capable, straight up, of running 1 million bottles out of 7 different warehouses.
Right.
Not in my skill set. What I am capable of is captivating, adding value to prospective customers and creating a relationship where they want to buy, purchase, share and have a different feel with a brand than they have with everyone else's, which is what happened to you.
Right.
That's what I do, which, by the way, a lot of people don't understand, but has an intangible value that's extremely hard to put a price on. And I've went with that. I've had that my entire career, where people that are numbers people don't really understand how that correlates,
Right.
although I understand.
Right.
And so I just continued to do what was natural. We tried to staff it as best possible. But the reality was Muscle Farm never had enough quality executives that believed in what we were doing. And there was never enough bankroll to handle this, to handle the growth. It was insanity.
Right.
And when I say that, that was the demise, because we literally, at the end of the day, like, couldn't raise enough capital and didn't have enough hands on deck to handle the growth. And the deals that we were getting done had never been done before.
Right.
The UFC had never had, they had BSN, but BSN never really took part in the actual process of the UFC. They just threw money at it. I was on the mat and spending $1 million in the octagon helping the fighters. Arnold told us in his meeting, GNC couldn't even get a deal done with me. How do you guys think you're going to? But we did. Tiger Woods never had a supplement sponsor, but we got him. I had a sponsorship with the Cavs. We got things done that others couldn't do in our industry. It was almost too far ahead of where our other capabilities were. And, that's hindsight 2020. But at the time, you're just faces on fire and you're just fucking making it happen,
Right. Right. And I mean, I'm guessing in retrospect, you wouldn't have liked that shit. Like, okay, I'm going to do a deal with Arnold. I'm going to do a deal with Tiger. There's probably no way you would take that back regardless, right?
No, I wouldn't take it. No, the Arnold thing was, all right, so I'm going into the meeting with him and I know that I'm about to stand by Arnold if I kill this.
Right.
Because this is what I do, right? What you can't teach is what I do. If you put me in with somebody and I'm passionate about the situation, I'm going to get it done and they're going to be my friend. They just respect what I've come through, what I'm about, and what I'm willing to do.
Right.
And in that case, that's why, post Muscle Farm, everything, blah, blah, blah. I'm still at Arnold's house every year for Christmas, non-pandemic, right?
Right.
And when I see Tiger, I haven't seen Tiger since, but when I do, it'll be the same. So it's one of those things where there's a level of respect of the younger dudes coming up if you present it properly. And I just know that people get down with that. And so I don't have to fake anything. I just have to be myself. So I was nervous, but it was an excited nervous, not a, I don't have what they want nervous. And I realized going into that, I'm coming out of here with him as my business partner. I'm going to be the intangible difference. I believe I was on the cover of this magazine with my kids at the newsstands at that current time, at the same month that I was in that meeting, not by accident, I don't think. I remember how hard that diet phase was. I remember how hard I pushed to get that done. And I was able to use that in the meeting to get respect and to get an understanding that Arnold knew the person that was going to be doing content with him actually fucking got it. Right. He opened it up. He went through the whole 12-page spread. He saw the fucking old school gym. He saw it look like the 70s. He understood that it almost, I had studied it to such a degree. It's almost like I lived then. Like I feel more comfortable with that time frame. Right. And so there was a connection that like no one else could really manufacture. And that's, and that's the mindset I had. And when I came out, I knew he was going to do the deal with us. And then the first time I stood on camera with him, I was like, I'm standing by as my business partner. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who created this industry besides Joe Weider.
Right.
No one can ever take that away from me, and no one else could get it done. I got it done with my team, but I know why, and he told me later why he did it, and that was exactly why. And he knew that I could shepherd his stuff in a proper fashion, and I believe that's how we, have continually connected. When I go to California, I get a chance to train with him, go out to breakfast. It's fucking love, bro. And he respected it since then. And he likes to come up because he came here, didn't speak English,
Right.
didn't have any money. He gets it, bro.
Right.
Mine's just a different path, and I don't want to try to be no movie star. That's not really my thing, but he respects how far I've taken it, So,
Right. No, 100%. That's so fucking cool, man.
So wild, bro.
Story.
Yeah. I mean, I literally, the first time I was at his house and I'm smoking a cigar on the back porch, I'm just like, bro, I can't even and the things that I've already shared with you,
Right.
those processes, you never dream that they can equal to that level. It's like you can't even conceptualize it.
Right.
But that literally years of relentlessness to the process, refining the process, setting the goals, reaching the goals, falling short of it. I carried over the cover goal for 7 years or something, bro. Every year I wrote at the top. I was like, fuck, I didn't get it that year. And, I shot a couple of them. They never came out. And I told people I did it, and I fucking had to go through that. And so that taught me a lot, man. So anyway, the process yielded something that I couldn't have believed in my wildest dreams.
I think that's super helpful to hear too, because I know even for me, we set every quarter we set all these big goals. And it's fuck, I didn't hit this. I didn't hit this. Fuck, I didn't hit
Carry it over, bro.
Didn't hit this shit again. And I know even some of my mentor clients talking about that same shit. Just especially as an entrepreneur, I feel that shit is just always up and down, up and down, up and down. But like you're saying, man, just consistency over time.
Just feel like I just came up with that same kind of lunchbox mentality. I just got to keep coming back for more. And I'll wear motherfuckers out to get to that point. Right. I just know what I'm willing to do when I'm super fired up with something. And I just think most of the population isn't willing to do it. It's just the truth. And I know that, and I think about it, I play these games with myself, right? If I sleep in, I know someone else isn't. And I know that I know motherfuckers want my spot because I know what it yields. I know what it pays. Right. I know what doors it gets you into. I know someone wants that spot, but I ain't willing to give it up yet. I'm not done. You know what I mean? So it's and I see guys like Louis Simmons. I see Arnold into their 70s creating content, still impacting people. This is just kind of who I am and what I do. And I got some new projects I'm really excited about. I think we're going to reach even more people on a even more mainstream. And so it's yeah, man, I really, once I got to that level, I didn't really believe there was anybody I couldn't fuck with.
Right.
And I think so every part of my career, I had those things that gave me a confidence to another level. If Arnold Schwarzenegger will believe in me, then why would I be nervous to interview Tiger Woods? If Arnold Schwarzenegger would believe in me, who's my idol,
right?
Why would I be nervous if I believe this is the right thing to take on this bit? You start to run that in your mind and know how astronomical that moment was, and to be able to get that done, that changes the way that you operate. And it really helps me to go back to those times and realize, that I was able to accomplish, because everybody's confidence changes from time to time. And I'll just go back through these old, I went back through the old Barbell Shrug. The first podcast I was ever on was during Muscle Farm's height, Squat Everyday podcast for Barbell Shrug. I didn't even know what a fucking podcast was when I did that.
That was the first podcast I ever listened to.
Yeah, exactly. And look, it fucking exploded, dude. 200,000 views. All these people from bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, they were all walks of life. We're like, man, this motherfucker's kind of crazy. It was huge for the brand. And I realized that this was my next tool.
Right.
That I had fucking a mic, I had a mouthpiece for this, in that I loved it because I could see the impact, right? So that was the first podcast I ever did. Never listened to it ever before I even did it. My interns are the one that told me to do it. I went there, had no fucking clue what was going on, and I just fucking blazed that motherfucker. And then I was hooked. Right. And so it's one of those things where I was all right, now I'm starting to put together what long-term I can impact with these different items. The confidence I got from, knocking some of these things out of the park. And there's other things I didn't knock out of the park, but I at least had some perspective on it. And then I was able to kind of continue the process of making, hard decisions from time to time based around this is what's possible because, you did it once or twice or whatever. And so knowing that and understanding that has a lot to do. I'm in spots sometimes, bro, and I'm just like, this is where you're supposed to be. And yeah, it is a big stage or spot or opportunity, but you've yielded the result because of the work and the consistency. And this is where you're supposed to be. And now you got to just do what you do, which is out the park. And I expect it. Right. I just expect it. That's not being arrogant. I expect it because of the preparation. And if you expect here and it even falls here, most people don't even fucking notice anyway. Right. So if I expect to win when I'm going at these things, like I never expect to go fucking lay an egg. I do lay an egg sometimes, but that's not my expectation. My expectation is to be me and do what I do because of the preparation.
What do you think are the biggest traits that have made you so successful, man?
I think I've always known who I am. I think at times in my career, I might not like at certain high parts of the corporate environment, I couldn't all the way. Who I am is the motherfucker that comes from under a 500-pound squat and screams and acts like a fucking maniac. That's me, dude. And that has like a unique swag and style. And I'm a mix of all these worlds. And I do want to jump and I want to do this and I want to fucking go. Like I'm just a fucking maniac of mixture of all these people I've learned from, all these interests, all these like aspirations, but I've always had goals wrapped around them that I had something to train. Even golf. I wanted to play St. Andrews. I had to have a certain handicap. So guess what? I applied the same mentality to my golf game for a short period of time so I could do my show in golf, right? It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. So I've always got something laid out that I'm trying to accomplish. And if I'm working towards something, and for normal people that don't do what I do, that could be their vacation. It could be their they want to lose 20 by a certain day so they can buy a fucking $100 pair of jeans. Whatever it is, you just got to have it lined out. So for 20 years, I have always trained for something quarterly, monthly, whatever it is. I really believe that is part of the special sauce. And the other thing is I am confident in me. I know who I am. I always have. Now, I've grown, I've had challenges, I've went through things, you get knocked down, all those things, but I really know who Cory is. Right. Like, and every time I just double down who I am, not who people want me to be, not what's fucking hot right now. I don't wear fucking tight joggers. That's not me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's cool right now. And I could probably sell more, but that's not my fucking jam, bro. I fucking rock shit baggy. That's just me because of my age group. Right. So it's like, I try to be who I am. And every time I've doubled down on that, like the Get Stack covers, the videos we do using personality, they always work better. Right. So it's like having the goal, understanding who you are. And then also I think you have to mesh what you're good at, what you're passionate about. And if there's a way to somehow impact another human or multiple humans, if that can all work together, I think there's a special sauce to it that's pretty unstoppable. And the way that you feel about me, what you shared with me, wasn't what I was intending to do out the gate. I was intending to add value to your workout. Then as you came down the rabbit hole, add value to your life, hoping, because I could never tie it back, that when you make the decision one day to buy someone's workout or their protein, that you would just try mine because I've added value to your life. That's how it started. And I utilized my skill set and craft that I had spent 15 years in my gym. All those workouts that you did were on a piece of paper in my drawer in my studio. I would walk into the gym for 10 years, figure out my workout of the day, way before fucking CrossFit, way before all this shit, back in biceps, all these supersets, all these holds, try to be creative, try to keep the clients off base. And I'd say, oh, that's a pretty good workout. Throw it in the drawer. That's literally where they all came from. I had them already for years. I just literally, and if I would run out of something to do, I just open the drawer and pick out a workout and be like, oh yeah, but I'll change this and I'll try this method. And Arnold said, do that. I read in the magazine, dude. And all I did was put them online for free. And
Right.
then people had enough value from that. Then when I said, hey, now it's $8.99, they were like, gee, we're riding with you because you already made a difference. I showed the value. So all of these other things that have come from it, whether it's being on the mic, sharing experiences, training, helping people build confidence, man, when I understood like how I could really help people feel better, I think that's when it had some like real, like, exponential growth that could be like life changing because I felt like I was impacting a lot of people in different ways than most others.
I love it, man. This episode is absolutely fire. Again, I'm
Thanks,
super
man.
fired up right now. Um, I know we're about up on time here, and I want to be super respectful of your time.
Sure. Appreciate it.
Before I let you go, man, just tell people where they can find you, anything at all you'd like to plug.
Yeah. So I'm at Cory G Fitness, Cory G Fitness, not because I love originally, but that's what, as I was not Muscle Farm Prez anymore, Cory
Right.
G Fitness is available across everything. But yeah, most people just call me G or Cory G anyway. So at Cory G Fitness, obviously have the app so you can do workouts and diets like we do. I'm on IG, Twitter, Facebook, everything. I really like interacting. I mean, I would say that one of the major reasons why most people fuck with me is because I'm available. So if you have
100%.
a question, I answer you. That's just the way it's been because this is, and I'll leave you with this. I always acted small even when I was big because I knew if I acted that way, no matter how big MP got, no matter how many followers, because if you walked in my gym, an old school gym, which is, by the way, my dream gym and where everything started, and you asked me how to take creatine or you asked me about that bicep exercise, I would tell you,
Right.
just as I do today, as somebody did this morning. I did the exact same thing on social media, and I used my small town mentality and mindset to then grow something bigger than I could have ever hoped by just basic core like human principles. It's
Right.
really nothing that crazy. It's just I did that very consistent also. So in my career, I've probably answered more direct messages personally probably than most of the industry combined, I would say.
I love it, man. Again, dude, I got to say one more time, I appreciate everything you've done. Had a
Sure.
huge impact on my career, personal development, everything. So I appreciate you, man. And again, I really appreciate you coming on here.
No problem, man. I'm glad to do it. Thanks for being so consistent on getting me to do it. And that's the reason why I want to come on. So, props to you, man. And if you ever need anything, you got me now. So just holler at me. All right.
The world, dude. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it.